Hi, I'm Oddity, and I'd like to invite you to the first and final episode of The Joy of Sapping. Just kidding, I'm no Bob Ross yet. Today's video is just another how-to guide to get better at your favorite class in scopes and shovels too. And we'll be going a bit calmer since the last few videos have been, He learned to blow out his brains. A little on the intense side. Anyways, today's subject is the Sapper. The Sapper as a class is pretty self-explanatory. You get a construction tool, and you get a shovel to dig for resources. Pick your favorite sidearm or one for the situation, and work it out in a match. But there's a lot of depth to sapping, and despite seeming to be a support class, you can get pretty offensive with it. However, I should mention early on, Sapper is not a true offensive class. Unlike other notable video game builders, you lack a primary, and frankly, for good reason. But this doesn't mean you should just sit around and spawn, or even worse, 3 miles to the left of it. But let's get into your tool set before we get to the mentality. Yes? I really don't want to have to review the build menu, since this series is for more intermediate players, so we're going to be mostly just reviewing each build wall. The log wall is pretty cheap at 6 resources, and 2,000 health seems like a lot, right? Yeah, the log wall isn't very good, but it's a good way to determine resource ratios. A log wall costs 6 resources. A ammo supply costs 10 supplies for technically 1 artillery round. This is a pretty bad resource trade, frankly, and when you actually make a bare minimum artillery setup, the cost ratio to defeat a log wall is 42 resources. However, 1 ammo supply doesn't only have 1 artillery shell, it has unlimited shells, meaning it can feed an unlimited amount of artillery guns. Thus, while 1 ammo supply does indeed consume 10 resources and takes more resources to destroy a log wall than it does to make a log wall, the second shot immediately makes back that cost due to destructive capacity. So, while the first building of the artillery set up to defeat 1 log wall does indeed cost 42 resources, the next immediate artillery gunshot will basically refund you 10 resources, which immediately circumvents the cost ratio, and any shots after that basically refund you the artillery setup back fully. Was this just a gigantic tangent? Yes. On the fort wall, before the stone wall, this thing was basically the meta for good buildings, since 400 health makes it actually usable. Unfortunately, stone wall has supplanted it as the durable building, but it's a good quick way to establish a tall artillery nest, and it's basically a more durable shelf/ladder substitute. But I feel like I'm forgetting something. Oh yeah, right. The artillery fort wall is actually usable because it doesn't take a single swing of a shovel to destroy it. I must indulge in a bit of hate to say I really hate when sappers use normal log walls because you only need a single shovel to tear apart defense with them. The artillery fort wall has support legs, which, while not invincible to being dug up, is a lot better than a single click. Sandbag is pretty underused, but mostly just due to a lack of explaining. For 10 resources, you get a bulletproof wall that's only weak to emplacement buildings and shovels, so that's a sweat deal. I'm not even going to begin with the stone wall, not out of hate, but because 12,000 is pretty obvious for its use case. With our tools out of the way, let's get to how to really get the most use out of your stuff. If you watch my artillery basics video, you know that placing your artillery on a platform prevents it from being destroyed when dug up. But this also applies to anything, and sandbags are a great choice for that. It's still, again, a bulletproof half-body blocker And you can recover the sandbag wall afterwards since they can feel expensive sometimes if you're losing it. Of course, this means you can body protection with a Gatling gun now. The Gatling gun user is pretty open to being shot due to exposed head, body, and legs, but if you place the Gatling gun on the sandbag, it prevents your legs from being shot, and the Gatling gun itself can block your body. Remember, always place your ammunition out of sight from the enemy. Always. Snipers can reliably take down ammo supplies from spawn. If visible, even a smidge, just bury them underground. Returning to cost ratios again, cardboard boxes cost 1 resource and only have 50 health, but are also a great way to soak up damage. They break from any primary, but that's 1 less bullet hitting your defended building, and with artillery shells, it completely wastes the shot. Gatling gun is less effective with this, since it has to saw through all those boxes to get to the structure. Metal shelves are actually a pretty good way to make a door. While yeah, you could just break it, this doesn't mean you need to crouch to get inside. Also, they act as ladders on the side, so 6 resource cheaper than a log wall, but more fragile. Trap panels are great fun, but most people don't fall for them since they're pretty obvious, even without lamp. However, people are usually less suspicious of sudden dips in the ground, so place your trap panels lower to cause people to not pay them any mind. There's also a very good way to eliminate someone from combat without killing them, just sending them to the bottom of the map. Basically foolproof. And even in this example where it's just a giant trench rather than an underground tunnel without light, it's pretty easy to just be banished to the Shadow Realm. You're forced to either dig up, which takes a while, or reset, which while faster, keeps someone out of the fight just enough for you to capture a point usually.